She plays an iconic character on TV, but that hasn't protected Milana Vayntrub from a tumultuous family life and a torrent of nasty messages. Milana Vayntrub was born on March 8, 1987, to a Jewish family in Uzbekistan, which was part of the Soviet Union at the time. 2 years later, they were refugees in America escaping religious persecution. As Vayntrub explained to NBC News in November 2016, there was a lot of discrimination against the Jews at that time. Both my parents were born there, but we were considered outsiders. We had some family in LA who offered to help us get there, so when they got the chance to leave, my parents took it. Vayntrub spent the rest of her childhood in West Hollywood, while her parents worked odd jobs, as she recalled to In Style. My mom worked in a factory that manufactured airplane parts and cleaned medical buildings at night, all while completing a program offered by the Jewish Federation to become a registered nurse at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. And my dad, he worked as a donut delivery man. Vayntrub's parents eventually split up, and her dad returned to Uzbekistan to start his own company.
So he was traveling my whole life. He's been gone.
Despite her tumultuous childhood, Vayntrub looks back on her upbringing fondly, partly because of how it shaped her career. As she told Esquire in 2015, "This is why I do comedy, because I've had such a weird childhood." Some child stars get into show business to help support their parents. Vayntrub was one of them, and she soon became her family's breadwinner. As she revealed on the Box Angeles podcast in 2015, "It started because we were really poor, and someone was like, you should put her into commercials, and then she can pay for her own college." Vayntrub's mother entered her into a beauty pageant at Disneyland when she was 5. After she won, she ended up signing with her first agent. She then really caught the acting bug, which led to gigs in Barbie commercials and a few episodes of ER. There's no doubt that she felt some pressure to help out her family, but fortunately she also truly loved what she was doing. During her teenage years, Vayntrub appeared on a number of TV shows, including the soap opera Days of Our Lives and the Disney Channel sitcom Lizzie McGuire. But eventually she took a step back from performing. As she told Esquire, "I just kind of stopped for a while because I didn't think I wanted to do it. I stopped around middle school and high school because I remember thinking I should probably focus on something more realistic." So instead, she set her sights on a career as an artist. As she explained on Box Angeles, "I wanted to be a painter or a graphic designer. Like, art was way more my thing." She gave up on acting and wasn't even involved in any of her school's drama productions because she thought they weren't very good. Unfortunately, her grades weren't very good either. After her sophomore year, Vayntrub decided to drop out altogether. Fortunately, though, this gave her the opportunity to explore other options. She trained in improv at the Upright Citizens Brigade, got her GED, attended community college, and graduated from UC San Diego with a degree in communication. As Vayntrub's career hit an upward trajectory in the 2010s, she went from starring in short films to major TV shows like Silicon Valley and This Is Us. In 2017, it was announced that she would be joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a live-action series called New Warriors. She was going to play Doreen Green, aka Squirrel Girl, but alas, the show ultimately never came to fruition. New Warriors was originally set to air on Freeform, and then there were rumblings that it would end up instead on Disney+, although that didn't work out either. Showrunner Kevin Beagle alleged on social media that a homophobic executive was responsible for the cancellation because it was apparently too gay. But this was far from the most tragic moment in Vayntrub's life. She still got to play Squirrel Girl in a couple of animated miniseries and a podcast. At WonderCon in April 2019, she told the Marvel Report, "When I am voicing her, I genuinely feel so connected to her in the cheesiest way possible. I feel like Squirrel Girl is not just my spirit animal, she is like my spirit."
I want to be more like her.
In 2020, Vayntrub returned to her most iconic role for a series of new AT&T commercials adjusted for the new reality of the COVID-19 pandemic. While many viewers enjoyed seeing their favorite spokesperson in her new work-from-home setting, others were focused more on her body. Crude and inappropriate comments filled AT&T's social media, and it wasn't long before the company had to step in. As it replied to one comment, "We don't condone sexual harassment of employees in the workplace or on our social channels." Alas, this wasn't enough to stop the harassment completely. In August, Vayntrub addressed the issue herself on Instagram Live as she pleaded, "I do not want any of this. I'm hurting and it's bringing up a lot of feelings of sexual assault."
It hurts my feelings.
Fortunately for Vayntrub, she had a fellow iconic pitch woman on her side, as Stephanie Courtney, who plays Flo from Progressive, reached out to support her. But unfortunately, some of the media coverage of her harassment was much less supportive, and her video was deemed to be a desperate plea, or as Vayntrub described it to the New York Times in 2023, like I was begging a lover to not walk out on me into the pouring rain. Vayntrub was, at least, in a fortunate position to take action against the harassment, as she was now the director of her AT&T commercials. She continued to appear as Lily in several spots, but often from behind a desk or using tighter shots that didn't go below her shoulders. She addressed the decision on social media in March 2021, as she wrote, "I place myself like that, and it's because of the thousands of unwelcome comments I receive about my body. You've lost the privilege of looking at it until I feel safe again." Vayntrub told Business Insider in July 2021, "Just by showing up to do my job, I received unwanted sexual and violent comments about my body and what people want to do to it." She explained that going forward, she had to consider everything from the amount of skin she showed to acting in any sort of sexual scene. "I'm unfortunately always thinking about it."
Once you show people their words have the power to hurt you, they'll never stop doing it.
In February 2022, just before the overturning of Roe v. Wade, Vayntrub wrote an essay for the Daily Beast about her own abortion experience. She became pregnant for the first time in 2012 while she and her boyfriend were struggling to make ends meet. There was never a question in her mind about what to do. As she recalled, "I immediately knew the right thing to do was to have an abortion. There was no hand-wringing, no confusion, no sleepless nights. My moral compass pointed very clearly in the direction of not bringing a child into the world that I did not want and could not care for." Years later, Vayntrub became pregnant again, but this time she was in a much better position to care for a child. The topic of abortion remains controversial, so it was hardly surprising that Vayntrub received backlash for sharing her story, including one person calling her a baby killer on Instagram. Nevertheless, she hasn't backed away from the conversation. As she posted to X in April 2023, "Abortion care is a holistic part of maternity care, as is autonomy, safety, joy, and freedom." There's only so much that you can do to deter vulgar online comments. That's abundantly clear to Milana Vayntrub as she continues to receive shockingly vile messages via social media. In December 2023, she shared a few Polaroid pictures of herself on Instagram from a vintage-style photo shoot. While many of her followers offered kind and supportive comments, others took things in the completely wrong direction. One person asked if she'd gotten a breast reduction, while another simply posted a crude term to describe her chest. In August 2024, Vayntrub was promoting her short film Pickled Herring on Instagram with an image of her and her co-star Renee Goubet. And once again, the inappropriate responses poured in, with users continuing to make misogynistic comments about her body.